going to start with some questions that revolve around mental health, and they're for you, Dr. Smith. We've seen the rate of suicide rise upon military members over the last 5 years. I would say significantly. We could blame that on a lot of things, on COVID, on economic strain. There's a lot of pressures out there. The question is for you is that what programs and strategies is the department using to reverse this alarming rate of suicide amongst military members?
Thank you, Senator Tester. We agree with you that it is an alarming rate, and any suicide is clearly a tragedy. We're using a public health approach, recognizing that medical is one component, but that there are clearly requirements across the force to be able to try to tackle this. And suicide clearly is a multifactorial in our examination, and I think most would affirm there are many different factors that go into it, as you've already recognized in your comments. But we have a number of different pieces going on, encouraging help-seeking behavior, looking at stigmatizing language throughout our policies, clearly increasing access to mental health with telehealth. We also have made sure that all of our providers are trained in cognitive behavioral therapy, which is one of the modalities that has clearly been shown in randomized trials to be helpful in suicide. But we know that it is an all-hands priority for our secretary and something that all the members of this panel have been actively engaged in.
And so the policies that you put forth to deal with mental health, are they measurable, and are you measuring them?
Yes, sir, we are, particularly looking at access to make sure that we have ready access to that. We also, as you're probably aware, screen our folks with our PHA, also with our before they deploy and after they deploy. But from an access point of view, we are challenged like the rest of the nation, but we have a standard that they need to be seen within 28 days. We're running at about, for active duty, 11 to 13 days for their initial appointment. Okay. And then for follow-up appointments, it's variable, but on average, it's about 15 to 17 days. Right.
So, and thank you. I will tell you that now I want to go in a little bit different direction. These are the folks getting out of service. I think we have an obligation to the folks who serve in the military to make sure that that transition is done successfully, and we're seeing, once again, suicide being a huge problem with transitioning from military to the civilian life. There was a DoD IG report that came out of November 2021. You probably know what it said. It said that 70% of transitioning service members are receiving a required physical examination upon separation, and that exam does not include any mental health screening. Only 5 questions were asked about mental health history with no follow-up questions. So, Dr. Smith, what's the DoD doing to ensure that 100% of transitioning service members receive the physical examination prior to their military separation? And while you're on that, what are we doing to make sure that mental health is addressed in that separation?
Yes, sir. The separation health physical exams have been a targeted focus. We've been working closely with the with the VA also in this to make sure that there is a warm handoff, if you will, for anyone that is known or recognized, whether it's with that separation health physical exam or it is, they are already in our care. And each of our components have been working to try to improve that. We've also just recently revised the policy, and it's in the process to further assure on the separation health physical exam, but I'll defer to some of my other teammates to see what additional comments they'd like to make relative to that.
So I'm out of time on that. If any of the other folks, the Surgeon Generals, want to respond to that in writing, I would appreciate it if you could. I just have one more, and I know I'm over time, but I've got to follow up on this. Mental health, I've been here 15 years. We've been talking about mental health for 15 years on the VA committee. These are folks who are coming out of the military, and they're killing themselves, okay? The mental health component was not a part of the evaluation that's being done. Only 70% of the folks are doing the evaluation to begin with. And now, once the IG report comes out, and I think it was November of 2021, now it's going to take until 2 years, November of 2023, before it includes mental health screening. Now, I understand it takes a while for government to do stuff, and it's tough to get the ship turned around. But I would just say this, if mental health is a huge issue, and it is, and you guys all know it, most of all of you addressed it in your opening statement, why are we tolerating the mental health screening to take 2 years to get into the transition?
Sir, I will take that for the record, because it's my understanding that we have mental health screening questions as part of that examination. So I will take that back and provide
Okay.
an information.
There are 5 questions now. There are no follow-up questions even, and they deal all with family history, is my understanding. But I would just say that I can tell you if Moran was here, he'd say this. He's on the VA committee with me. He's ranking member. And we got a huge problem. We've got a problem with the fighting force to begin with, as we pointed out with the first question. And we've got as big or bigger problem when they're transitioning out of the military. I think it's a bigger problem, actually. And so we need to get this right, and we need to get it done right soon. So I appreciate your attention to this matter.